everything is going wrong. Oh no, nobody knows the way you feel about it, 'cause only you know. You can't leave it alone. Ah, here we go again. Ah, here we go again. I thought what we had was over. Here we go again. Ooh, ah, here we go again. What do you do when you love somebody and you decide to go it alone? Oh no, no, it never pays to give up on someone when on the inside the feeling is strong. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. I thought what we had was over now. Ooh, baby. Oh, here we go again. I've always been through, baby. Yeah. I keep coming back to you now. Out of all the women in the world, I keep coming back to you. Yeah, baby. What do you do when you love somebody and realize you're walking away? Oh, no, no. You hesitate when it's time for leaving. You and I know it's never too late. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Don't ever say it's over now. Ooh, baby, here we go again. Oh, after all we've been through, baby, well, I keep coming back to you now. Out of all the sweet women of the world, I keep coming back to you. Yes, 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 y'all. That's the Isley Brothers. I want to have more people in the chat room, so I think that I want to play one more beat just to make it a little bit more time, because we're going to talk about Kamala Harris' economic policy and how it is seemingly leaning towards communism or socialism. And we have seen other countries like Venezuela and other countries try that and have really wrecked their country. So I want to play one more song or one more beat just so that more people can come in, so that I don't start and then people wonder what she said, because she did a live yesterday talking about her economic policies, and I don't think it's going to be a good thing for Americans overall. Yes, y'all. TJ, I understand what you mean about policies, politics, particularly not being the best conversation to be had, but this is our future, TJ. I don't know if you're Black, I think you are, but this really affects our future. And this woman is trying to make it seem like she has the answer for the economic policies. And it seems like she might be leaning into communism or socialism. We're going to get into that conversation a little bit later. But I just want you to know that when do you talk about these things? If you don't ever talk about them when they affect you, you can't say nothing about it, but you'll be suffering. And I think a lot of us just want to suffer for no reason. When you have an opportunity to learn why you need to vote against Kamala Harris. So I hope that you stay. I hope that this doesn't chase you away, because it's a very good conversation to be had. Now, I caught a little bit of African diaspora talking about how the migrant situation is harming the Black community. And we're going to start off first with his video. I'm going to give a reaction to it and kind of merge the conversation about the economic policy in the middle of it, so that it won't be so boring, because Kamala Harris is boring. There's nothing about her that's electrifying or anything like that. So I really get sleepy listening to her. So I can't even start off talking or showcasing her without getting bored. So I'm not going to do that to you. What I'm going to do is go to African diaspora, and we're going to sound off on his conversation, which was about Black Americans are being harmed while migrants are getting the tax dollars. This is what his discussion was about yesterday. More than that, the illegals are harming our future. They're harming our options. They're harming our hopes. They're harming everything attached to us. And they're using our civil rights that we died for, and they're just getting ahead of the line and getting handed out stuff, benefits and rights and all these other things that we had to literally see blood for. We literally had to lose our lives over. We literally had to be humiliated, disrespected, and all these other things to get the little bit of rights that we do have. And they just come over here illegally, and they're handed the world. And this can't continue another 4 years, because if it does, a lot of us are not going to be around anymore. A lot of us are not going to be able to survive the outcomes and consequences of what a Kamala Harris can do. And so this is why this discussion is called for. So if you have not yet, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. For those that did see yesterday's video, unfortunately, it got taken down because I played Prince song, Strange Relationship. I did not see that it had some type of copyright on the video, but I guess the owner of the channel had some type of copyright, so that video got struck for those that did wonder what happened to that video. It was a pretty good video too. It talked about the gender war, and unfortunately it's gone. But anyways, we hope to make this video better. So let's get to this video. All videos will be under fair use under 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 for education, for observation, scholarship, entertainment, all the above. So let's get to this video. And
so what we're going to do tonight, for people that may be new, that maybe just their first time coming here, we're going to review both of the videos that we saw for the past 2 days about the sister crying in the car about the migrant and the other brother that only get $23 of food stamps. After that, the viewing of those videos, definitely we will get people to call up and call in. I got to make sure to get that. Let me go ahead and get that right now. Give me a second while I take care of that. I'll take care of that while we're doing a quick devotional real quick. Won't take too long. Let's see right here. Since she getting in all kind of trouble. You know what? I know I did that this week, but shoot, and I wish I would have added that last part to it from the other day. But let's cue up your vice president, and then we'll get started.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke.
Yeah. And I'm wondering what the United States is going to do more specifically to set up a permanent infrastructure. And relatedly, is the United States willing to make a specific allocation for Ukrainian refugees? And for President Duda, I wanted to know if you think, and if you asked the United States to specifically accept more refugees.
Okay. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Okay.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day.
Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that. But I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like our thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah. I believe that we need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No. And as a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch. Turn that off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is your Vice President of the United States that's wanting your vote in November. Ladies and gentlemen, she wants your vote. So we don't know if she's being tough or she's being another word I don't want to say on here, but she said it. Women can get away with saying that, but us men say it, it's a problem, right? All right. So those of you who didn't see the video from last night, we're going to cue that up. And then we're going to cue up the second video, and then let's get to it. We put the link in the chat, the pinned comment. Real quick before I even get started with that, make sure that you download the African Diaspora News Channel app and Google Play and Apple App Store. Take advantage of the back to school promotion. It's only for the 1 year membership. It's My News 50 in all caps, My News 50. And you can get 50% off only during this promotion. After this promotion, it's no more for the year. It'll be back to regular price. Also, with the Ethiopia trip, we are completely sold out, but there's 4 spots left. Those of you that probably got paid today, and you want to go, you better jump on it, because that stuff about to get cut off too. And when I twisted their arm for this 4, so you better be on the 4 if that's what you want to do.
Let me fast forward this part. I don't need to listen to all that.
But he showed me his paperwork.
Okay, so this is a lady who has worked her whole life to get where she could buy a food truck for $25,000 cash. She paid for it out of her own money. She also, I believe, was a vet. She talked about how hard it's been for her to do what she needed to do and how to get in business. And I think that she had difficulty maintaining the business. That's why she was thinking about needing to sell her food truck. And she was approached by a migrant who says, hey, the government's giving me money every month. I could pay for it. So that really broke her heart. I want you guys to see what she had to say.
Want to continue the trolling, you'll have to go that route. So let's cue this up from last night, and then we'll go to the second video after that, and we'll take y'all calls after y'all see this video.
I need this message to go out to our vice president, who's running for president. I have heard all over social media about, excuse me if I say anything wrong, immigrants getting loans, money. It was hard for me to believe. It was just extremely hard for me to believe. I've been in business such a long time. Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it because I'm doing other things, but I'm selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my vehicle, a food truck. And he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant. He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I worked so hard to pay cash for my food truck. I have good credit, can't even get a business loan because of the color of my skin.
Again, this is the story of our life in America, and we have been fighting so hard to get fairness, for us to be treated like every other American that comes over here. And most of the Americans that are so-called Americans were immigrants from somewhere else. And they come over and they seize the opportunity to become Americans and have the American dream without no issue. They're aided with monies. They're aided with loans. They're aided with business contracts. They're aided with all these other things that we have been somehow barred from. And we've been trying to focus and try to see how we can get around and get these fair laws applied to us, like an anti-hate black bill applied for us, and other bills and policies to help us out. It seems like we're losing our grip with our own affirmative actions, our own civil rights, our own benefits as Americans. It seems like it has dried up, and we're unwelcome for what other people are now getting. All Americans are feeling this, not just Black Americans. Unfortunately, Black Americans are feeling it the worst, though, because they don't have wealth. White people, for the most part, had wealth. They have stocked up money. Not all, but plenty white people do in comparison to Black families and Black persons in America?
I have veterans in my family. I'm a veteran. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck. And when I talked to the bank, they told me usually they have to go straight to a dealership because I'm a private sale. But for special circumstances, they're going to, they allow it. But I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here. And they're getting money. Money! We're doing nothing but just being here. It's not right, and I want answers.
A migrant, okay, an immigrant, left a receipt in the store. And you know how I got the food stamp remaining balance at the bottom of the receipt, right? $13,500 with a $5,000 cash, Larry. Okay? Migrant, somebody that's not from this country. Now, you are a veteran, and you've also served this country, correct?
Correct.
Now, tell these people, okay, after I just said they left the receipt with a $13,000 food stamp balance. Tell these people, as a veteran that served this country, right? Tell them how much food stamps you get in a month.
$23.
$23, not $2,300,
$23.
not $230. How much you getting in food stamps a month?
$23 a month.
$23 versus a person that's not even from this country versus a person that did not serve this country. $13,000 they said it was on their receipt.
$23.
And you fighting to get your what?
100.
Your 100% from the VA.
So everything that we have sacrificed, like this man right here, he was in the military. He's trying to get 100% military pay. He's getting $23 worth of food stamps every month. A grown man, $23. What can you eat for $23? $23 a month. But the migrants come over here and they get $13,000 a month for food stamps, plus $6,000 to $5,000 cash, so that they're able to get a food truck and be able to finance that food truck with food every month without fail, unlike other people that tried it because they can't maintain the bills for the food. But the migrants are not going to have the same problem as we're having. And that's not fair. And this is going to be the flip of what is coming with America continuing on and forward with the likes of Kamala Harris. She is going to make sure to keep the migrants on top, to keep the illegals on top, to keep the DACA people on top, and leave us assed out. This is what's coming, y'all, if we vote for Kamala Harris.
Can't even get it. America, you should be ashamed of your goddamn self.
100%.
You should be ashamed of yourself. See if Kamala gonna fix that. Here this man is a veteran, okay? Fighting for his 100%. He done fought for this country, and he get $23 worth of food stamps every month. And then they found a receipt of an immigrant, a migrant, getting $13,000 a month, Larry. Not every 5 months, not every year. A month. Is that not a slap in the face?
Slap in the face.
Now, before I let this continue, let me say hello to everybody in the chat room. I appreciate everybody for coming through. If you have not yet, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm For Black Righteous Folks Home, or for short, For Black, you can call me. And I appreciate everybody for commenting in the comment section. Just please be respectful, and I will converse with you. If you're disrespectful, I'm going to omit you, time you out, or throw you out, either or. What's up, Pinky? How are you doing? What's up, Big Chief? What's up, TJ? What's up, everybody that's up in the clouds? Let me see the first one that says, TJ says, almost one where I'm at, but GM, good morning. Yes, ma'am, I'm black, okay? And they're both boring, you say? Unfortunately, those are the only two choices that we have, TJ. We got to pick the lesser of the evils. And I think that Trump, unfortunately, is lesser evil, because at least he's going to throw out some of the migrants. He's going to close the border. He's going to get rid of the dangerous migrants, and he's going to balance and make this thing make sense here in America again. Maybe some of the people that will be captured will go willfully. Maybe some of those people will, before Trump even becomes inaugurated, they'll see the light and just take off and go back home. Use some of that money that they get from the government, the last check that they get, and make their way back home. That would be ideal. What's up, Big Chief All-American? And Pinky says, you're right. We won't be around seeing a news report. Our self-deletion rate is going up. Black males deleting themselves. It's really a sad thing. I was watching a couple of things that really, I'm going to show in this video, that really raised my eyebrows. And we are really being replaced. We're really being marginalized. We're really being gentrified. Well, the cost of the rent and the cost of living is really high. We're being squeezed out, like I said, in America. And then for those that take a chance to go to Africa, they're being bankrupt over there. So at both ends, we're getting targeted, and we're getting tore up out here. Pinky also says, every time I get a delivery, it's a Ukrainian, that they always have that flag waving. What? They got the post jobs? Wow. See, that's what I'm talking about. They come over here and they get top tier positions. They don't work at security or work at a warehouse or work at a dumpster or whatever. They don't do miscellaneous things. They get real good jobs, unfortunately, over Americans. And I wish I was dreaming, y'all. I really wish that this was not going on, but this is actually happening in 2024, and this is done by design, y'all. Pinky says, Phil is not advocating for Trump. He's just against Kamala, doesn't like women black identified. Yeah, he doesn't like black women that are American, that's for sure. He kisses the asses of Africans, though. He calls them sisters and everything. But when it comes to us, he always has a reason. We have to give him a good reason before we're given the title of being called sister. He's always calling everybody else sister over us, though. I noticed that. You said, I have no empathy for her. I will bet a week's pay she voted for Biden, and the illegals getting her food truck will be kept in business by us, Pinky says. Unfortunately, I do have empathy for her, because who could predict this? Who could imagine that our government would be so irresponsible to not care about America like this? We have never seen such recklessness in our whole entire life. I always believed that George Bush Jr. was the worst president, and then Carter. But no, It is now Biden, and it will be Harris if she gets in office. You mark my words. You said my people were brought over as an indentured servant, Shanna. Dean says, okay, who are your people, Shanna? And TV Sheikha Huma says, we are the original inhabitants of these our lands. Exactly. We are definitely Americans. We have always been in America. People are trying to make it seem like we come from Africa. We need to look to Africa, all this type of crap. But we have been here long enough to claim this land. We have been here long enough to care about ourselves in this land. Kathleen says, false. False about what? What's false? You can't just say false without telling me what's false. That don't make sense. Pinky says she's probably can't get a business loan because her truck is not making enough money. Others don't support our businesses. We don't support our businesses. You're right about that. For the most part, we do not support our businesses, but we support everybody else's business, and it's really pretty pathetic. It's sad. Leslie Ann says, help our own people first, all races, veterans, seniors. Exactly. Help the homeless here where you are. Help the vets where you are. Help the people that are American that are struggling if you can. Help them out. That's what I'm saying. What's false, Kathy? Leslie says Trump wants to cut out federal taxes and Social Security tax. John says, not true. I'm 63 and I'm on Social Security and broke. I'm sorry to hear that, John. And Big Chief says, don't cry, sis, just don't vote for Kamala. But the problem is, Big Chief, there's a lot of us that want symbolism. We want to see a woman in the office. We want to see a melanated person in the office so that we can say, we made it and you didn't make nothing. This woman's going to turn on you as fast as she can while y'all are enjoying yourself in this symbolic thinking. Pinky says some of our ancestors were already here. Our ethnogenesis happened in America. We were made in America. Exactly. And we're going to always have this argument and this discussion over and over again with Pan-Africans and Africans arguing with us about our allegiance to being where we are. Why can't we care about their situation? Why can't we go where they are, where they left? Like, because you ain't there and because we ain't never thought about going. That's why. Lord Odin, father of the Azer, okay, says, here's my issue. Why is a black woman crying about money? Why don't you find a black husband, bills together, make wealth? There be no problem with money. Brass seem to forget independent black women. Lord Odin, you are assuming that all these black men are worthy of being married too. You're assuming that these men are loyal. You're assuming that these men are out here looking to be married. You obviously are not in America because you don't know what you're talking about. There's too many men that are running away from being married. And there's other men that don't want to settle down because they're whores and they want to be tricks. So what is a woman to do with that? She has to be alone, unfortunately. Perma says it's some bullshit what they're doing exactly. And this stuff is just the man making $23 for food stamps. I could not believe. How is that possible as a vet? How is that possible? Big Chief says it's not funny, but the look on his face is saying this some bullshit. Exactly. And Lord Odin is back saying independent black woman working, making money. Instead, you could have build wealth together with a black man. The black woman chose to work. Black woman chose to be independent. Again, you don't know what you're talking about. Where are you at, Lord Odin? Where do you reside? Because you obviously are not in America because you do not know enough about these men that these women have to deal with. There's a whole lot of men that are undateable, let alone marriageable, if that's a word. They're not worth marrying. They're not worth dating. It's good to stay celibate in a lot of ways, a lot of this dating scene that's out here. So until you come to America and look and talk to some of these men and see how they're acting, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Pinky says, Lord Odin, father of the Azer, she has probably seen older women deal with black men and decided she didn't want one. And why should she have to depend on a man? Exactly. I mean, everybody wants to have somebody if it's possible. Everybody dreams of being with somebody, because who wants to struggle alone? Who wants to have the headache of life alone? Nobody. But we don't want to saddle up with somebody that's going to make your life a living hell, that's going to make you go crazy, that's going to make you grow a lot of gray hair before your time, or make you get sick before your time with the bullshit that they bring to women. And that's just a fact. I suggest that women figure out who you are, get celibate, don't really do too much of nothing until you meet the right person to date. Make them work and make them show you that they're worthy of you. A lot of women are just dating and getting in bed with these men and calling themselves having fun and not making these men work for nothing. So it's the way that we move as women. We got to train these men to treat us better. And if you don't, then you're going to get the same results that you're getting right now. Rodney says, now that is effed up. This country was never for us. Again, Rodney, regardless of how you feel, we have been here for hundreds of years. Where else are we going to go? I'm not going to Africa. I'm not starting all over again. I'm not going somewhere where I'm not appreciated and I'm taken advantage of. That's what will happen over there in Africa. So where are you going to go, Rodney? If it's such a terrible place, and it is at times can be terrible for a lot of different things, but not all things, because women in other places are not treated as kindly as they are here in America. At least we have a choice. That's the problem. Men don't want women having choices in America. But if you go anywhere else, all over the globe, you will see the same theme. Women don't have choices. That's why they want to come over here. You get it? Go Trump. Exactly, King Ofal. MAGA. Life isn't fair. I work 2 jobs full-time and part-time. I still have $4,300 in my savings. I have no issues and a hard-working black man all my life. Okay, but you didn't tell me where you live. Do you live in America or not? Where do you live? Are you living in Africa? Are you living in the Caribbean? Are you living in America? How hard is it to answer that question? Lord Odin. That reminds me of a Nigerian name. Okay, are you building for a black woman? Pinky asks Lord Odin. Johanna Olsen says, I really don't want Harris. You're right about voting for the lesser of two evils. Thank you. That's all it is. It's like, one is going to keep the border wide open and bring in her own people, Indian people, and others. She's going to allow this place to be saturated, and we're not going to recognize America no more. We're going to have a hard time finding people to speak English. We're going to be running around trying to find people to speak English to. That's going to be ridiculous, really. Sissy said, Trump's the best, to hell with the rest. Exactly. Why should I build for a black woman? Lord Odin says, what did the black woman do for me? The only person I take care of is my mother. I'm a hard-working black man. I don't give my resources, my strength to just anyone. Well, why'd you talk about the woman not being with a man then? If this is the attitude that you have, can't you understand that there's many other men that have the same attitude as you? That's why she can't find no damn man, dummy. Raymond says me. Pinky says delivery drivers for Walgreens, Walmart, restaurants, pharmacy. Wow. Lord Odin says, so why should Black women look for you, people to build with? You just said the opposite of what you said earlier. That's what I'm saying. They're a big contradiction. That's what we're talking about. These men are double-minded. They don't know what they want. They just talk off the side of their ass, but they expect women just to be doing whatever they say. And we're not doing none of that here in America. Sorry about that. Pinky says, Lord Odin, but you want Black women to help you, Black men, males, bye. Lord Odin says, what I'm trying to say is I see Black women complaining and crying that they have to work. If they want a man that's a provider, why don't Black women give the man submissive treatment? Everyone wins. Like I said, Lord, where are these men that are available, that are not whoremongers, that are not, that are loyal, that are not out here having babies all over the place, that are having the attitudes that you have? How can we omit men like you? Because we don't want men like you. So we rather be by ourselves than be with men like you. Lord Odin says, I have no problem providing for a family. I have no problem paying all the bills. The issue in the Black community is simple. Why are you laying with criminals and thugs? What's wrong with educated men? Again, you're doing the manosphere talking point. You haven't answered my question. And since you haven't answered my question, I'm not going to read any more of your comments. I asked you specifically, do you live in America? Yes or no? Answer that question. I'll read your comments. If you don't, I'm going to skip your comments from now on, starting now. Ebert says, dirty as F. That is. Pinky says, Lord is in America. He's one that we need to stay away from. He said he has $4,300 in the bank. I know. I mean, that's better than not having nothing in the bank, because some men can't save no money. So I'm not going to knock him for that. But I'm going to knock him for saying that he don't want to take care of nobody. Well, if you don't want to take care of nobody, then why are you complaining about the woman that can't find a man? Because she's running into men like you. Deborah says, what you saying? Why do we have to train? Why do we have to train men? Man, we are in their mothers. We have to raise our kids. Why do we have to train? Why do we have to train men? The reason why we have to train men is because we have to train them on how we want to be treated. Because if you don't, they won't let you set boundaries against them. They will never let you set boundaries against them because they want access to you. Whatever and however they want to get to you, they'll do. You have to train them on no, that's a no. No, you can't move this fast. No, you can't do this to me. No, you can't have my body yet. No, you cannot do this to me in this way. You have to train men because they don't want you as a woman having boundaries. And I have not been with men, but I've been observing and I've been paying attention. And men, for the most part, don't want you having boundaries. Anti-Map says any American that is paying attention will be voting for Trump. Exactly. The N says it's because I'm paying attention that I'll never vote for Trump. That's your opinion. You can have it. Big Chief All-American says so-called Black woman invented the heating furnace, so without them, he would be in the cold. Trump 2024, that's right. Magdalene, I think that's how you pronounce it. Lord Odin living in his mama's house. No woman wants him in his mama. Yeah, it does sound like he might be living in his mama's house waiting for his mama to pass on so he can have her house. Isn't that something? Sorry, I don't know why that posted on here. Okay. Hey, what's up, Afro? God is my sis in the house. She says, these men are such bitch made, they make me want to slap the bitch out of them. He came up in here like he had all the answers and he don't even want a woman himself. Talking all that crazy talk. Men want to be called men, but asking women to bring something to the table, make that shit make sense. It's crazy. That's why I'm happily single, because I'm not arguing with no man. That's for damn sure. They're not worth all of that. Pinky said he's in the cold sleeping with his teddy bear. And hello to you, Afro Goddess. Thank you for being here. Rodney says some women have good men. A lot of them treat them bad. Keep it real and stop saying men. Some good men. What do you mean? They're all, if they're of age, they're men. What do you want me to call them, boys? Anyways, let's get back to African diaspora and try to understand why we are having problems with the migrant crisis as Black Americans. As you can see, we're having problems.
But that's sad. Fight for this country ain't even worth it.
Nope, it's not. You got it, bro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That just a reminder of what the subject matter is going to be. Let me look in the background. Let me see. Okay, who I got back there? Let me go on and get myself on my other screen here. Just give me a minute.
Oh, he's about to do calls. I didn't want him to do calls. I thought he was going to talk more about the issues. Hold on. Let me get to this part right here, this video.
So right now I just ran into Maria. Maria, tú eres de Venezuela.
Sí.
¿De dónde?
Barquisimeto.
De Barquisimeto.
Ahora.
Oh, ok. ¿Y hace cuánto tiempo llevas aquí en Estados
Ya
Unidos?
en total fue para 6 meses.
6 meses. Wow. ¿Y qué tal? ¿Cómo te gusta?
Bien. Algunas personas sí no se llevan bien con los venezolanos, pero feliz.
Feliz.
Porque, como yo digo, aquí en Nueva York, Estados Unidos, hay diferentes, diciendo nacionalidades de personas de Estados Unidos, de otros países.
Hay de todo el mundo aquí.
Claro, y todos somos felices, tranquilos.
Qué bueno, me alegro. So she said that's here. There's people from all over the world and people have treated her amazing. ¿Y tú vives aquí en uno de estos hoteles?
Sí, vivo en el Teswas.
En el Teswas. ¿Y cómo es el tratamiento en el hotel?
Bien,
¿Bien?
bien.
¿Y cuánto tiempo te dejan quedar en un hotel?
En total 60 días.
60 días. ¿Y después qué hace uno?
Después pasa la 45
Ok.
en el Roswell y vas otra vez a renovar y te mandan a otro jefe.
Entonces hay que aplicar para los
Sí.
hoteles. Ah, wow.
Pero aquí el gobierno ayuda a todos los venezolanos.
Ok. ¿Y también dan como para comida?
Sí, sí.
Sí.
Sí,
Wow,
hay
qué bueno.
alimentos para niños. Ahorita están dando tarjeta alimentaria también.
¿Y si no te molesta, cuánto más o menos te dan?
It's crazy, bro. It's insane. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking about going to New York and really just going to see and talk to the people, because I went to New York for the meetup late last year, and it was already popping. And so the Roosevelt Hotel had already been designated as one of the places where migrants can stay, and it's not the only hotel and it's not the only migrant shelter. They also have a lot of gangs and a lot of people, and they assault police, and it's right there in the middle of Times Square, and they pay a lot of money, this hotel. And the budget for this right now, currently, as of what it is that I've researched, the budget for migrants in New York City alone, this don't have nothing to do with Chicago, it don't have nothing to do with Denver, don't have nothing to do with Los Angeles, don't have nothing to do with Atlanta, Boston, all of these different places that's basically designating themselves as sanctuary cities, is $2 billion a year. Think about that number for a minute. $2 billion a year. She said the government treats them beautifully. Well, they get free food, they get cash cards, they get EBT, food stamps, they get schools, healthcare, everything. It's like a dream. It's a wonderland. You can't go anywhere in the world and get this level of treatment and get an opportunity to be great and get a and get a renewal. So every 60 days, they just want to make sure that you are who you are and you're doing what you're doing. You can bring your kids, right? A lot of them come over here pregnant, and then they wind up having kids here, which then makes those kids natural U.S. citizens. And that's been going on for decades. Asian people, the Chinese people, usually come over here and have their children so that their children will have dual citizenship, both here in America and where it is that they come from. And so our laws, our enforcement of the laws are so lax. And then when you see these people pull up these receipts and these results, and they say, well, listen, I'm disgusted. I'm not really happy about it. This is what's happening. And so they feel comfortable. Listen, they said, we don't care. Some people don't like immigrants, but New York is a melting pot. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, was clapping his hands as we was getting off the bus to come over here. We came from nothing, and now we up now. We up now. And so American citizens, now that it's election season, because I'm going to just tell you that this has been going on for years during the entire Biden administration, and then they fought Trump. They fought him tooth and nail his entire time that he was in office, which they didn't fight Obama. See how we going in reverse in order to show you what's going on? Because I'm going to pull up the old video, and I'm going to show it to y'all tomorrow, of Biden himself basically saying, listen, you cannot in any way, shape, or form protect what's going on inside of America or help American citizens unless you secure our borders. Now, I don't know if he just became so dementia, progressive, whatever you want to call it, to where he just completely forgot where he was, and then whoever it was had an agenda, maybe Kamala Harris, who knows, decided that they wanted to really push this agenda or whatever. But what I am saying, what I do know for sure, one thing is for certain, two things is for sure. I think that there's multiple different reasons for them doing this migrant crisis. That's number one. And then number two, they're cutting the budget from other things that you find meaningful, like police services. It's already been up there, and if you want to see it, I've got plenty of clips and plenty of live streams that's dedicated to it on the Millionaire Morning Show, because we've been covering this, and while everybody else is getting distracted by things that didn't fucking matter, I was over there doing the work and paying attention to what's going on in the war between Greg Abbott trying to make sure that they secure the Texas borders, and a fight with Brandon Johnson and all of these people in the Texas states, the red states, was basically saying, hey, listen, we all need to come together because this is something that we don't need to be divided about. We all need to protect American borders. And they went against Greg Abbott. And so Greg Abbott had to do what he had to do in order to make sure that everybody else felt the pain and not feel him, and he's the best governor in the United States of America. And so what you basically see now is the culmination of the Harris-Biden mishandling at a large scale what was happening at the border. And it's unfortunate. It is very, very, very much unfortunate, because this woman, who is a baby mama, came over here. She got clothes. She dressed better than y'all. She living in her femininity. She don't have no worries in the world. She know that her life is going to be okay. They can make their life what they want it to be. And you over there crying about the fact that you don't have an opportunity, you don't have no resources, and you don't have nothing that's going to allow for you to really, really capitalize off of the possibility of making sure that you can achieve the American dream. Then guess what?
The American dream again is becoming farther out of reach for us Americans, and it's gonna be again cemented for the illegals, for the migrants. That's what's going on. He flipped it on us, y'all. Biden flipped this shit on us, and I believe that Harris is going to complete what he started. Now, I found this video, a very interesting video by Samba Journeys, and it's talking about by 2028, LA's Black American population might be all gone. And the gentrification, the cost of living, and all these things he's talking about, I want you to really listen to what has happened and is happening to California, LA. And after that, we're going to go listen to this Kamala Harris proposal for her policy, her economic policy.
And what it's like now. So it's gone. In 4 years, this right here, this little demographic right here that you see right here, in 4 years, they're going to be gone. This is how real this is.
And that's money, y'all.
People flip out and trip out when you're at
household money. The network of households is going to be zero for U.S. Black in 4 years, y'all.
Hey, what are the specific policies for Black Americans? This is why we're asking that. This is why this question is being asked. This is why I don't, when you see the boule types that are getting excited because Beyonce going to be performing at the DNC next week or whenever it is. Or you got Steve Harvey, be quiet, Dwayne. You got Steve Harvey out here that's out here talking about telling Black folks, y'all better be quiet because I'm just going to be lobbing her alley-oop. That's all I'm doing. I ain't going to be asking her no hard questions. See, Steve Harvey can get a house in LA and be cool. But the Black folks that live in the areas in LA have been there traditionally for years and years and years. In 4 years, they ain't going to have a place. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just showing you this is what it looks like. And this is why, so when you hear Black people say, well, some Black people say, you're just caught up on just her skin color. No, you are. We're looking at policies. This is a danger zone right here. All these, even African Blacks, look at you, for the Africans in the house. Do you see why now we have to delineate ourselves in terms of economics? Because I can tell you right now, this group ain't trying to lift up U.S. Blacks. They're not. This is
and they never will. They never will. But they are helping, they're hoping, and they're demanding, and they're expecting our little bit of money that we got left to be thrown towards Africa. But they're over here living a better life than most of us are living here in America. And they won't help us at all here in America, but they want to talk about Africa and Pan-Africanism. I wish somebody would come into my face talking about Pan-Africanism. They might get spat on.
What you're looking at is a race to the top. And according to this, the Japanese are winning they doing quite well in the LA area. All right. So so this website, this is colorofwealth.org. And I would encourage you to check it out. They have different cities on here. Check it out though. Okay. But the LA one I think is worth the focus because they are going to have the Olympics by 2028, the Olympics is coming, which means that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be displaced by the time the Olympics comes. Yeah, now, so for us, I actually lived in Atlanta just right before the Olympics came, and then I was down there while the Olympics was happening, and then after the Olympics left. And so it gave me a very interesting seat to observe the changes that took place just within in that time span as Atlanta was getting flushed with a whole bunch of money. There's a lot of people relocating to Atlanta during that time, and it gave me an opportunity to see this rapid change that was taking place. And one of the things that was very noteworthy was how the communities that had a lot of Black history to them, and they've been there for a long time. You even had two churches that were there, almost close to 100 years. I think maybe one was probably a little bit over 100 years. Rapid change was taking place where eventually over time, this was kind of after the Olympics, those churches got pushed out. The city compensated them in that particular case. But what was happening was that the fact that change was taking place, this was something that was being trumpeted from every whatever, that, oh, Atlanta is progressing, this is the place to be and all of that. But what about the people who were on the lower end of that economic scale? What about them? And the reason why I want to focus in on that is because of the fact that this is what's coming to the people in LA, the Black Americans that have called the city of Los Angeles their home for generations. If you know anything about the rich history of Los Angeles, you know that Black Americans helped put that city together, helped put that city on the map. And it's amazing history, and I would encourage anybody to take a look at it. But if you look at that chart that I just showed you earlier, you can see right in your face that once this Olympics comes in, I believe this is going to be the final wave that's really going to push out Black Americans who have called that place home for a long time. It's going to push them out. I mean, it's just inevitable. And so what I want you to do is take a look at these clips here that I'm about to show you, because this is what happened in the city of Atlanta. Let's take a look at those clips.
Another thing from the last podcast that I learned was, because I think we got into gentrification a bit, and we were talking about, you were talking about how white people didn't want to live in the same area code and street as Black people. So on Moreland,
that's why once it crosses ponds,
exactly, they changed right when it crosses, when Moreland Street crosses Ponce de Leon. Right after that, it becomes Briarcliff Road, and they changed the zip code to be a different zip code and everything because they didn't want it to be associated with Black people.
That's redlining and that's white flight.
That the city of Atlanta proper focused in an imbalanced way on business development.
Breaking Through News is investigating gentrification in cities across the U.S. Gentrification is defined as tearing down low-income homes and deteriorated urban neighborhoods, and then rebuilding luxury homes on those properties, which raises property values.
They wanted to get the Amazons. They wanted to get the Porsche, the Kia company. They wanted all these companies to be headquartered here. As a result of some of the success of that, gentrification has been the rule of the day in our neighborhoods and in our communities.
In Atlanta, during the late 80s up until 2011, public housing units were demolished and replaced with new upscale homes, condominiums, apartments, and businesses.
The Title VI funds that destroyed public housing in many cities across the country, on its face looked like a good thing, because the line was, the political line was, we're going to come in, destroy these pockets of poverty, because in this public housing, you've got all these poor people living in the same place, and they're not able to help each other, so we're going to have mixed income housing, and so that's going to cause a change in the mindset of the poor, and they're going to want to be like their neighbors, so they're going to do better. Well, that sounds good, but that's not what happened. What happened was when the Title VI money came through, they tore down every single housing project in the city of Atlanta and replaced it with either green space or mixed income housing, but they did not replace it bed for bed for the people who left.
Forcing mostly African Americans out of their neighborhoods. Reportedly, at one time, Atlanta had 14,000 public housing units.
The people who were displaced were not allowed to come back into the mixed income housing.
I just got paid $6,000 for my car crash from using this app on my phone. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's called the Case Connect Compensation Calculator right here. And it's for $60,000, and I'm about to go cash it.
For those of you
you that don't know what Case Connect is, it's one of the largest settlement payout companies in the world. They developed this app that has helped over 140,000 people get paid huge checks after their car accidents. The app asks you 4 simple questions, then compares your car accident to millions of other accidents. Then it can tell you instantly if you qualify for a huge check like I got here. The first time I learned about this was 3 years ago from Angelo. So Angelo was in a bad car accident, lost his car, lost everything, and the insurance companies weren't trying to give him a cent. Angelo shared this video that went viral of him using the Case Connect app and getting a $120,000 check for his car accident.
Yo, good morning. Hope your day's a good one. I need to talk to y'all right quick. Stuff like really just, it really messes with me, man. Because like, what's happening, you know, all of this, people talking about racism and white supremacy and all this type of stuff. Like, you see what's behind me right now? What's behind me right now is the hood, alright? It's the hood. This our community, you know what I'm saying? This is like the hood. What's up, sweetheart? You alright? Nah, I don't have no change on me right now, sweetheart. I don't have no money on me right now. This is what it is. This is what's going on right now, man. People are hurting. You know, I know people are hurting all over the world, man, but like right now, people are hurting right here. And so, on the same exact street, I gotta show you this. Same street. Now, you see that? Now, these folks ain't playing with y'all. It say, if you can't read it, it say 27 lots. Starting 600,000. 27 lots, 600,000. Do the math on that. That's starting at. That's like 16 million. White men over here about to do 16 million, starting at 600. So that's not counting the ones that got the view that's gonna go for 800,000. They getting ready to do 20 million. 20. And let me just turn around so you can see what's going on. We across the street looking at this go up. Now that's the part that baffles me. We across the street watching this go down. And it can't be like that's one multiplex, that's 2 multiplexes, 3 multiplexes, 4 multiplexes. And these folks got the earth digging equipment, they got the cats out here. They not playing with y'all, man. They not playing with y'all. So to be on some foolishness right now as black folks, I ain't even pleading with y'all no more. I'm just showing you what this white man is doing. He's pushing you out of your own community, man.
Okay, so finally, so just imagine for a moment, you know, for the people, the remaining Black Americans that are in Los Angeles, who are renting, which is probably a good percentage of them. You know, between now and 2028, those rents are going to go up. And so once those rents go up, it's just a matter of time. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to see black people in Los Angeles at all, because you got people of all colors and races or whatever that still work in that city. So you'll always see them around. But as far as the legacy is concerned, that part is being pushed out economically, and you're going to see it as we're getting closer and closer to the 2028 Olympics. I know at the time of this recording, it may seem like a long way away, but listen, time is moving so fast now. Before we blink, we will be there. In fact, the city right now is already preparing, you know, for these Olympics as we're speaking right now. And so it's something to really think about. And I think this is a very important issue to talk about, because Los Angeles actually provides us with a really good example of things to come for a lot of Black Americans in this country. This is why you're seeing a lot of pushback in this, you know, this wave of Kamala Harris and we just have to vote for her based on her color alone. And, we want to see, she's an AKA. She's going to possibly be sworn in, and, with a Delta, by Justice Ketanji, and this is coming out of the mouth of comedian Ricky Smiley, who's so giddy and excited about that. But when it comes to this particular issue right here, where literally you're talking about the remains of a Black community that has called Los Angeles its home for a long time, literally being snuffed out in about 4 years or so. And so
when I talk about this squeezing out effect, I've been talking about it for like 2 years. It's happening. It's been happening. It's going to continue to happen. And what is going to escalate it? Someone like a Kamala Harris, if I'm saying her name right. Look at what she used to talk like back in the day, y'all. Look at what she used to talk like back in the day. Just to give y'all an inkling of an idea of what type of person this person is. Would you trust her as a president?
Charge you with a crime, which I may choose to dismiss 2 weeks later. It's an incredible amount of power. The power I have as a prosecutor is that with a swipe of my pen, I can charge someone with a misdemeanor, the lowest level offense possible. And by virtue of that swipe of my pen, you will have to go to a courthouse and stand in line. You will have to come out of pocket and hire an attorney. You may get arrested for a few hours. You will be embarrassed in your community. You will miss time from coming onto the Google campus. All because with the swipe of my pen, I've charged you with a crime, which I may choose to dismiss 2 weeks later. It's an incredible amount of power.
And this is the woman that y'all want to put in power. Someone that's already felt power, kind of thirsting for more power. And when she becomes president, my God, what is she going to do? Which brings me now to her economic policy and what she said, what her words were, and then we'll analyze what does her policy really mean. Again, not a benefit to Americans. Her new America is for migrants. It's for illegals. It's for the DACAs. That's her new America. That's the freedom that she's talking about. That's the American dream that she's talking about. She's not talking about you, American, whether you're white, black, whatever. She's not worrying about you unless you are a professional, unless you are higher up professional. Then you might be included in her vision. Other than that, you are not thought of.
Thank you, Mike, for sharing your story. And I'm just so sorry for what your family has been through. But you have, out of an incredible tragedy, done so much for the community. And you are such a role model. So thank you, Mike, for everything. Thank you. And good afternoon to everyone here. Thank you to all of the incredible leaders with us today, including my friend, the Governor, Roy Cooper. Here with his daughter. Every time I land in North Carolina, just literally coming down the stairs of Air Force 2, I will shout to Roy Cooper, "What number is it, Roy?" And today he shouted 16, which is the number of times I've been in this beautiful state since I've been vice president. I want to thank your next governor, Attorney General Josh Stein. He's doing incredible work. He's going to be an extraordinary governor. Representatives Adam, Manning, Foushee, and Nickel, thank you all for your support, for your friendship, for your leadership. Chair Thomas of the Wake County Board of Commissioners, thank you for all that you do. And to all the leaders that are here today, including the students and instructors here at Wake Tech North. about two very different visions for our nation. One, ours, focused on the future, and the other, focused on the past. We see that contrast clearly in many ways, including when it comes to how we think about the economy. So our country has come a long way since President Biden and I took office. At that time, we sadly remember the millions of Americans that were out of work. We were facing one of the worst economic crises in modern history. And today, by virtually every measure, our economy is the strongest in the world.
She is lying. I digress.
We have created 16 million new jobs. We have made historic investments in infrastructure, in chips manufacturing, in clean energy. And new numbers this week alone show that inflation is down under 3%. And as President of the United States, it will be my intention to build on the foundation of this progress. Still, we know that many Americans don't yet feel that progress in their daily lives. Costs are still too high. And on a deeper level, for too many people, no matter how much they work, it feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. As president, I will be laser focused on creating opportunities for the middle class that advance their economic security, stability, and dignity. Together, we will build what I call an opportunity economy. An opportunity economy. An economy where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed. Everyone, regardless of who they are or where they start, has an opportunity to build wealth for themselves and their children. And where we remove the barriers to opportunity, so anyone who wants to start a business or advance their career can access the tools and the resources that are necessary to do so. I will focus on cutting needless bureaucracy and unnecessary regulatory red tape, and encouraging innovative technologies while protecting consumers, and creating a stable business environment with consistent and transparent rules of the road. As president, I will bring together labor with small businesses and major companies to invest in America, to create good jobs, achieve broad-based growth, and ensure that America continues to define the future and lead the world. And key to creating this opportunity economy is building up our middle class. It is essential. The middle class is one of America's greatest strengths. And to protect it then, we must defend basic principles, such as your salary should be enough to provide you and your family with a good quality of life. Such as no child should have to grow up in poverty.
Is she talking about all children, though? That's the question. Is she talking about all children? Because I just found out that from Pink Book that she actually was able to get $26 billion for her own people back in 2023, y'all. You cannot make this shit up. Listen to this real quick.
On January 20th, 2021, if you are president, what specifically would you do with the thousands of people who try to reach the United States every day and want a better life through asylum?
Immediately on January 20th of 2021, I will, first of all, we cannot forget our DACA recipients, and so I'm going to start there. I will immediately...
She doesn't want to forget the DACA, the dreamers, okay?
By executive action, reinstate DACA status and DACA protection to those young people. I will further extend protection for deferral of deportation for their parents. I will also immediately put in place a meaningful process for reviewing the cases for asylum.
One of the questions that the Black community has is, Senator Harris, if you are elected president, what would be your agenda for the Black community?
Right. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And she really showed me and demonstrated to me that she cares about our people passionately.
No, she demonstrated that she cared more about her people passionately. Not with lip service either. The Biden-Harris administration bragged about the tangible benefits they delivered to Kamala's people. See, she said she wasn't going to do anything specifically for Black people, but she's done a lot specifically for her AAPI community. She got her people over $17 billion in government contracts in 2022, and it
over 17.3 billion awarded in government contracts specifically to the AAPI community back in 2022 alone. Okay, let's go.
Increase that number by 2.7 billion, giving them 20 billion in 2023. This wasn't for everybody. This was special set-asides for Asian American owned businesses. Kamala continued to support Asian American small business owners by providing their small businesses with $6.4 billion in funding in fiscal year.
AAPI means Asian American Pacific Islander, Alex. That's what that means. Asian American and Pacific Islanders. That's what she gave to her people. Nothing, but she wants to call herself Black, though, when it's convenient. But she actually helps out her real people with monetary funds and then just plays Black to get our vote, playing us.
23, that's 6.4 billion with a B. Yeah, 6.4 billion in just 1 year alone, 2023, that went to...
It's bad, Alex, if you're not spreading the wealth across the board. If you are secluding the monies to your own people and you're leaving out other Americans that need money as well, like Black Americans, white Americans, all other Americans, and you're allocating funds for your people in the tune of $20 billion in the last 3 years or so, that's a problem, Alex. That's a problem.
Directly to Asian American owned businesses under the Biden-Harris administration. They bragged about this to the Asian American community. So look at 2023 alone, just 1 year. That's a total of $26.4 billion allocated directly to Asian American owned businesses. Kamala's people. That wasn't for everybody. It was specifically for them.
Why did Amazon send me $20,000?
Specifically for them. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room before I continue. If other groups of people were also given monies besides other people such as her own, then it wouldn't have been so bad. Yes, Alex. But because she skipped over the people that she used to become a vice president, we should feel some kind of way about being used and abused and then spat out like old used up chewing gum. That's all we get is, oh, she's the first Black wannabe president. Symbolism. And what we're going to get for that Nothing. Everybody else will be getting stuff but us. Yes, Trump 2024, Philip Barber. Thank you for that. Mulchman says she never passed one piece of legislation her entire career in California. What a joke. Yes, she is a joke, but she knows how to give money to her people, though. Northern Grazer says all these people quit their jobs to collect unemployment. Not all those people quit their jobs. I think that is a broad statement to say. You think everybody don't want to work? Afro Goddess says this election got people going bonkers. For example, Mike. I know, huh? Everybody's going bonkers. What Mike you speak of? Which Mike? I'm trying to think what Mike you're talking about. Let me know which Mike. They don't make one job. They didn't make one job. I know that, Northern Grazer. They didn't make one job, but they're not allowing other people to join in the festivities of sharing with those different jobs. Pinky says, if I had read about what's going on with election in a history book, I would think this was fiction. I know. Don't it seem like fiction? Tony is saying he. Ain't nothing funny, Tony. But I guess you're being blessed. That's why it's funny. Black Lives Matter, Black Lives MAGA. Exactly. Raven says Trump Vance 2024. Exactly. 2024 Trump, Rodney says. She called Biden a racist during the primary, then accepted a job from a racist, then gets an old white man VP. Exactly. She is a walking contradiction. If Trump doesn't win, you will lose. To Keyston Willis from Pinky Wells. Lane says, why hasn't she done it as a VP in over 3.5 years? Exactly. She wants us to look forward to all the promises that she has, Lane, because she's telling lies. She's telling outright lies. Something is going to happen during her pregnancy, during her presidency if she becomes president. And it's going to be all the more reason why she's going to fail on all her promises. Let her tell it, though, that she has got all these promises for all of us. AB says her words have already led people to act out violently against political rivals. For real? Hey, what's up, Monique? How are you doing? Thank you for coming through. There is no middle class anymore. It seems like there is no middle class. You're right about that. Alex says Republicans for Harris Walsh. Exactly. Oh, or independents or anyone that's tired of being played. Pick Trump. Middle class is now $150K a year. Northern Grazer says, shouldn't everyone get a good quality of life? Americans first. Four Rivers, you changed your name. I remember your name being GD or something like that. Four Rivers, good now. Thank you for coming back. You said Biden helped cause the job losses when he reinstated the World Health Organization. After Trump separated from them, they caused the job losses of those who refused to be vaxxed. See, Biden was a devil to a lot of people. I'm okay today, Monique. Thank you for asking. Trump 2024. Lisa says she hasn't done a thing for anyone in 3.5 years. She's done plenty for her people, though, as you can tell. She's given up $20+ billion to Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So they've been blessed with contracts and money. Who cares what she says she can do for anyone? She would never follow through, Northern Grazer says. That's what I believe. I think that she's a big chameleon and that she is a faker and she's an imposter and she is lying to our faces. Sam says, anyone notice she is black when talking to black voters, then she is something else when speaking to others. That's why she's a chameleon. Sam C, that's exactly what I mean. And the AAPI community is Asian American and Pacific Islander, Alex. Anyone believe this bitch? And if she were a woman, I would call her the son of a bitch. And if she were a man, I guess you mean. Easy accent. Okay, is that good or bad? It's bad if you're being one-sided. It's bad if you're choosing over everybody, your own people, and favoring them because you're supposed to be for everybody. So that's not a good thing when you're not for everybody. Pinky says, but I can't do anything only for black people, but I can for AAPI. Exactly. The interview asked Kamala what would she do for black people, not if she was only going to help black people. Kamala is an evil fraud. She is. Pinky says, why did AAPI get the money? They weren't here building this country's foundation. Because it's her people. She had enough monies to share with them, apparently. But coming to our community, she didn't give us a nickel. Not so much as a nickel. Northern Gazer says she should be supporting America and Americans, not other countries or illegal immigrants. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way that we would think it to be, but it's not that way so far. Pinky says people from India are coming into America by the thousands. Talk to someone that works for any airport. That's what I know. They're coming. They are coming. The mic in the chat, sister. Oh, okay. All right. I didn't see him yet. Afro Goddess. I didn't see him yet. Lisa says too big to rig people. Trump 2024. That's your friend Mike. Pinky says still what he says, Chamberlain 40s. Oh, yes. Trump 2024. Raven says, amen. Alex says, India, Pakistani, Bangladesh, Nepal, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. That's a lot of communities in the United States. Exactly. And she gave a little bit to all of them, Alex. She gave a little bit to them. But she didn't give us nothing. No, Pinky Wells, I don't know him. He said my sister was just looking for views. Oh, I didn't see who that was. Did you time him out? Which mic was it? Because I didn't even see that fool. Anyways, if you're here or gone, who cares? I'm doing my channel. You don't have to be here, okay? Yes, the GD stands for good, so I just spelled it out. Okay, I was just like, she just had GD before. Now it's good. You are so correct, Carol. How you doing? Thank you for coming through. Donna says Trump Vance 2024 for world peace and affordable food and gas and affordable housing and no tax on tips and to stop the invasion of our country and to protect our 2A. Exactly. Thank you for that, Donna. And Afro Goddess says, no, I didn't time him out. I think he just already left. Oh, then he's irrelevant then. He's probably jealous because I get more views than he does and I'm a smaller channel. That's probably what's going on. A lot of other channel holders or content creators, I've noticed, they're not measuring up to all their subscribers when they go live. And I have been maximizing my numbers, and I guess people come over here out of jealousy. Who cares? Anyways, let's get back to this Kamala Harris and see what she's on. I don't like Kamala Harris. Again, it's not because she's cosplaying us, more or less. It's because I don't think she's a very honest person. I don't see her as being very, very honest, and I just want her to slip up and tell the truth one time so that we can tell who she really is, because we don't need to be lied to all the time. You know what I mean? We have been lied to enough as it is.
Quality of life. Such as no child should have to grow up in poverty. Such as after years of hard work, you should be able to retire with dignity. And you should be able to join a union if you choose. Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency, because I strongly believe when the middle class is strong, America is strong. So in the weeks to come, I will address in greater detail my plans to build an opportunity economy. And today, I will focus on one element that's on the minds of many Americans as they pay their bills at the kitchen table or walk the aisles of a grocery store. And that is lowering the cost of living. So every day across our nation, families talk about their plans for the future, their ambitions, their aspirations for themselves, for their children. And they talk about how they're going to be able to actually achieve them financially. Because look, the bills add up. Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes, prescription medication. After all that, for many families, there's not much left at the end of the month. I grew up in a middle-class household. For most of my childhood, we were renters. My mother saved for well over a decade to buy a home. I was a teenager when that day finally came, and I can remember so well how excited she was. I kind of understood what it meant, but we called her Mommy. Mommy was so excited, it just made us excited that she was so excited. Later in college, I worked at McDonald's to earn spending money. Well, some of the people I worked with were raising families on that paycheck. They worked second or even third jobs to pay rent and buy food. That only gets harder when the cost of living goes up. When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans. As president, I will take on the high costs that matter most.
So we got to wait until she becomes president so that she can include all Americans. She can't show us a little taste of what she's about before she becomes elected as president. She's a bold-faced liar, y'all. Peep game.
To most Americans, like the cost of food. We all know that prices went up during the pandemic when the supply chains shut down and failed. But our supply chains have now improved, and prices are still too high. A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%. Many of the big food companies are seeing their highest profits in 2 decades. And while many grocery chains pass along these savings, others still aren't. Look, I know most businesses are creating jobs, contributing to our economy, and playing by the rules. But some are not. And that's just not right. And we need to take action when that is the case. As Attorney General in California, I went after companies that illegally increased prices, including wholesalers that inflated the price of prescription medication, and companies that conspired with competitors to keep prices of electronics high. I won more than $1 billion for consumers. So believe me, as president, I will go after the bad actors. And I will work to pass engaging on food. My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules, and we will support smaller food businesses that are trying to play by the rules and get ahead. We will help the food industry become more competitive because I believe competition is the lifeblood of our economy. More competition means lower prices for you and your families. Now compare what Donald Trump plans to do. He wants to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax on everyday products and basic necessities that we import from other countries. That will devastate Americans. It will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. And you know, economists have done the math. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. At this moment, when everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher. As president, I'll take on the issue of the cost of health care. As Attorney General, I took on insurance companies and Big Pharma and got them to lower their prices. And together with President Biden, we've gone even further. We capped the price of insulin at $35 a month, and the total cost of prescription drugs at $2,000 a year for seniors. We let Medicare negotiate lower drug prices for seniors. And just yesterday, we announced that we are lowering the price by up to 80% for 10 more life-saving drugs. And I pledge to continue this progress. I'll lower the cost of insulin and prescription drugs for everyone with your support, not only our seniors. And demand transparency from the middlemen who operate between Big Pharma and the insurance companies who use opaque practices to raise your drug prices and profit off your need for medicine. 2 months ago, I announced that medical debt will no longer be used against your credit score. And I will work as president with states like here in North Carolina, Roy Cooper, thank you again, to cancel medical debt for more and more millions more Americans.
It sounds good, but do y'all believe her? Do y'all believe her? A lot of people says a lot of stuff to get our vote, and then once they get in, they do a 180. I don't believe anything that she says. I think that her ambition will be about the migrants and the illegals. That's going to be her baby. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room. I don't believe nothing she says. I just wish she would go away. Just go away. Let me see, where was I? Easy X says, recently the black farmers got millions of dollars from Biden-Harris after years of suing the federal government, but the money is to be shared with anyone that has discriminated against not all black folks. See, that's what I mean, Easy X. Everybody gets to get on any benefits that we get, but then when they get benefits, we are not nowhere around to get any of that. Yes, it usually works that way, Four Rivers says. Black farmers just won a $2 billion lawsuit, Alex says. I heard that there's people still trying to fight it, though. I heard that there's still somebody trying to block it or something like that. I hope I'm wrong. But it's never easy for us to get a win without other people trying to come in and dip in and try to cut us off, trying to hijack. Always something of that sort keeps happening when it comes to our money, to our lawsuits, for our reparations. You got Africans all over the place. Oh, we want in. You know, it just goes to tell you that these are the times. Big Chief All-American says, I think Kamala Harris is a better name. Exactly. Her name is, I can't say her first name very well, so I might as well start calling her Kamala Harris, because that's exactly what she is. Thank you for that. Pinky says, I knew that would happen. People of color, which includes the Mexicans that died to keep black farmers from getting that help, the help. Wow. No one is talking about Baput that. I don't know what you mean by talking about that. Talking about what, Alex? Sued, not died. Okay, Pinky. Under the grace of God, the truth will eventually prevail, the Raven says. Oh yeah, the truth is going to come out like within months of her becoming president. I pray that doesn't happen, though. I pray that we really support Trump. Four Rivers says taking the tax dollar off the middle class and wasting it on illegals is not the way to strengthen the middle class. She's a fraud. Exactly. Pinky says you won't be able to retire if America keeps letting poverty in here. I read a story online. Americans will be working well into the 70s and 80s before they can retire. Wow. Donna says, look at her face when she said she's going to lower food prices. She ready to bust out laughing. I know. She knows she's lying. And my pub grows, you said the year was 1987. And Afro Goddess says, I don't think this lady is smart at all. I don't either. It's going to be full wizard sleeve now. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. This is a terrible speech. I know Apple Newton. The Raven says, my cousin can't even get his broken neck fixed and his bad tooth pulled because of these Democrats. Has put millions of hours of work in his lifetime, but they won't help him. He has a broken neck. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I actually had a broken neck when I was a child. So he doesn't have the body brace and the things around the steel implanted in his head and around his forehead. He doesn't have that put on yet. I don't think you can live with a broken neck, though. Can you live with a broken neck? It has to be fixed. Can you please explain that some more, Raven? Monique says, imagine she worked at McDonald's for spending money only while others were working to survive. I guess that people are supposed to feel good about that. Yeah, she did it to get extra money. She didn't need to work. She just did it to get extra money, to blow money. The choice is pretty clear who to vote for. Yes, it is. Apple Newton. It's definitely Trump. Kamala Harris name dropped too much. Kamala Harris. That's what she is, a chameleon. John says, you're right. She has the capability to help now. But that's not the plan. They're looking to really squeeze us. Oh, yeah. it's going to be a sad, sad winter. I really hope to goodness Trump is in office. I hope to goodness that we don't have to feel that type of pain and suffering. I understand that there's a lot of other people around the world that's really suffering, like literally famines and weather issues, and their inflation is really high and their governments are really corrupt and all that. You know, I've been paying attention to other stories as well, but we have not felt any of those types of issues in a long time. For us to come into the, you know, the new year to suffer under extreme conditions, it's unbelievable. I can't wrap my mind around it very well. Donna says, the Raven, tell him go down to the border and act like he just came across and they'll give him everything. Wow. Four Rivers says, Donna, it's a disgrace that Chameleon and Biden allowed the food prices to be this high for so long. It's a shame that some citizens have to steal food to eat it. Oh yeah, I saw this guy the other day. He went to this grocery store that I go to where I go get some fried chicken sometimes. And he was the only one in line before I got there. And I could tell he was homeless. And he had like a knife in his pants. He had a long bladed knife on the side of his thigh. I could see the handle of it. But he was asking to get, you know, a whole bucket of chicken. And then he walked off talking about he going to come back for it. He was hoping that I wasn't going to be there so that he could take off and run with it. Or he was hoping that I was going to offer to pay for it. And I didn't have the money at the time, so I couldn't do it. But I'm pretty sure the worker probably was helping him out by leaving it on the counter for him to take. But I didn't stick around to find out what he was doing, because I seen that knife. I was like, oh, he got one of those old school knives, the real long, like machete looking types. I was like, oh no. That's what you've done this entire time with Joe Biden, Aaron says. And a lot of people are stealing food, because I think you can steal so much and not go to jail or get hemmed up by the security. That's how people are surviving, is just running out of the store with food. That's cheaper than my taxes, Robert says. Monique says, I am someone that hates liars and fake people. I know that's right. Clinton says, she is so full of crap. Liar, liar. I know. Aaron says, I love the 5 people clapping. The Raven says, good point. Donna says, absolutely. Four Rivers says, after 3 years of Biden and Harris allowing price gouging, we're supposed to believe that she's going to stop it. Exactly. She is the cause of it. Now she's going to be the remedy of it. Come on. 80 days till election. Oh my God, it is so close. Ruffin says, who does she think she's going to cover the debt? It will be taxpayers. Exactly. Sakawina says she's already in and does nothing. Exactly. We should not reward her for not doing nothing. Real Spill says MAGA. Exactly. Afrogata says most people don't count medical bills on their credit report. Yeah. Apple Newton says it's pretty clear who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Trump 2024. Exactly. Goddess, that's absolutely correct. Ruffin says this is the worst campaign speech in history. Apple Newton says. Zach says I'm voting for Trump in Minnesota. Thank you for that. Iowa for Trump. Thank you for that. Everybody, please vote for Trump. Zach says, is she Indian or black? I don't know. She's Indian and white. She's not black, but she's going to lie to get the black vote as best she can so that she can turn around and do us dirty. And then y'all going to look like some idiots as usual. You're going to look so stupid when she ignores you and does nothing for you. And all y'all going to have is stupid little posters and shirts with her name on it, looking like some damn doofs. Who cares what she is? I don't care what she is, but I don't like the fact that she's cosplaying us to get our vote. The great state of Alabama here is all for Trump. I hope so. I forgot it says she said Medicare for all Americans. So does that mean the rich gets the free medical as well? The last time I checked, lower class already gets medical coverage called Obamacare. Apple Newton says, I like Comrade Camellia. I don't like her. She's the devil. Four Rivers says Biden reinstating the who mandated the Americans be vaxxed or not be allowed to work or operate businesses. He created the job losses, then claimed unvaxxed migrants were needed for these jobs. Ain't that a trip? Wouldn't it have been something like with all that craziness that they did to us about the vax? Why didn't they make all these migrants that came through get vaxxed at least? What shouldn't that have been a prerequisite for them coming up over here with all the problems that we had with COVID, that they be mandated to be vaxxed? And that, I bet you that might have stirred some of them not to even come. If they would have said that, like, if you want to come, you're going to have to be vaxxed. If you come up over here, the minute we see you, we're going to vax you. We're going to vaccinate you. I bet you many of them would not have come. But no, none of that was said. Yes, Trump for Americans. People that do not want America to stand are voting for Harris. Or people that only think about their benefits like immigrants are going to be voting for Chameleon Harris. The Raven says his neck is messed up bad. It's hard to explain. He can barely hold his head up for long without bad pain. He eats Advil like candy because of it. Oh, what happened to him? Did he get in a car accident, Raven? I'm sorry to hear that. I do have a nephew that got shot in his neck, and he has had issues in a wheelchair now, and he's only about 21 years old. It's so sad. Things happen really quick in America, though. And people really can have health issues behind people being reckless, car driving, bullets flying, just freak accidents. All kinds of things happen to where we need medical insurance. Pinky says, Camellia for the rest of the world. I know that's right. She's for everybody else but us. And they won't give him medical insurance? Oh, no. How could they say no? Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Donna says, everyone who sees how high prices are, now you haven't seen anything yet. If Kamala gets in, God help us. That's what I'm saying. I hope that you guys been prepping for these last couple of years since COVID. You should at least have 2-3 months worth of food in your cabinets, just in case, cans at least. You know, get those spams, get those tuna fish, get anything and all things that you can get that are canned goods. Cynthia says, I don't believe her at all. I don't either, Cynthia. She is not believable. Pinky says, other parts of the world are suffering because the people won't do the work Americans have, and others want to come here to benefit off our Americans' hard work. Exactly. They get everything for free. Four Rivers says hospitals are now being accused of dumping patients at bus stops and sidewalks because they don't have medical coverage, while foreigners are getting free medical coverage, etc. Oh, wow. See, y'all. See what they're doing to Americans? See how they treating us? Pinky says, I wonder how much Camilla wealth has increased since being a VP. You know she's a millionaire. The Raven says people that would rather sit on their butts and do nothing get all the help, yet hardworking people get shafted. Yeah, F that. Four Rivers says it doesn't matter what Chameleon is. Her political past is trash. Don't vote for her. Exactly. Easy Act says, I told you some weeks ago that I knew someone from another country that is trying to come to U.S. illegally. They left their country already and now they're in Mexico. Wow. Damn. They're trying to arrive before elections. A lot of people are. Wow. Camilla has the biggest hustle is pretending to be American. Exactly. Black American. I'm a pure blood, unvexed, and proud of it. Exactly, Raven. Me too. Rochelle says Trump supporters low-key love Kamala. No, we don't. I don't know what you're talking about. I want that bitch far away from me. I didn't even know her up until recently from listening to all these old videos of hers. And I'm shocked and stunned by how brass and rude and disrespectful she sounds. So I'm just curious on why everybody, especially that are black, are wanting her to be in office. It does not make sense at all. He fell off a ladder doing heating and air work. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Kamala is not better. South movie action. That's a lie. I rebuke that. The Raven says he's not in a wheelchair or anything yet, but his pain is bad. Wow. You should at least get him a wheelchair to help him out a little bit if you can. Have your family like raise money. Maybe do a GoFund and raise some money for him so that he can go see the doctor or something. Four Rivers says, good job. Avoid these questionable vaccines. Exactly. Euclid says, what makes Trump believable? The only thing that I could say about Trump and me believing is that he was adamant about doing something about the border before. He was working on building a wall before. So I know that that is the first thing in his mind to deal with is the border. And that's all I want is the border right now to be dealt with. And I want some of these dangerous, unvetted people to go back to where they came from because they don't need to be over here illegally. They're not doing nothing for us. Rochelle, they might, but she won't get that vote, Pinky says. In Los Angeles County, the hospitals have been dumping patients on the streets for years. Wow. Donna says, because we had Trump for years and he did everything he said he was going to do. Everyone had money, food, gas, jobs, closed the border. Exactly. The only thing that happened that was really bad was that COVID that came. That's really what messed everything up for him. Now, I want to show y'all that according to a lot of other people, they believe that her plan that she's proposing will be on the level of like communism and it's insanity. So let's listen to what Fox News has to say about this real quick. If you have not yet, please do me a favor by liking and sharing the video. I would greatly appreciate it.
And tonight, Kamala's honeymoon phase is getting close to over. Now the media, they will definitely be fawning all over all next week at the Democratic National Convention. But after Labor Day, I'd say it's game on. For nearly a month, the Harris campaign has been fueled by so-called vibes and little else. Now, there have been no interviews, no press conferences, no town halls, no gaggles, and absolutely no policy positions. Our website, it does feature many links to donate, several very nice photos, but no principles, no ideas at all whatsoever. Now, campaign aides, they whispered to their friends and the mob, state-run media mob, that their boss no longer supports any of her insane, radical, far-left, extreme, and dangerous beliefs. They say Kamala merely wants to bring laughter and joy across the globe. Tell that to President Xi and the mullahs in Iran and Vladimir Putin. They even are writing glowing speeches about freedom, really. And that Kamala gleefully reads all of this from a teleprompter. Not too well, but she's reading.
Ours is a fight for the future of the middle class, and it is a fight for freedom.
Some of us are old enough to remember when it was Republicans who were talking about freedom.
A promise of freedom.
When Vice President and I talk about freedom, we mean the freedom to make your own healthcare decisions.
Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America?
All words, price controls, that's not exactly free market capitalism and freedom. And like everything else from Kamala's campaign, are joyful words about freedom and her platitudes, etc. They're fake, they're phony, it's a complete fraud, and it's being perpetrated on all of you. Now, today, Kamala unveiled her first major policy proposal. Well done. Strict government, no freedom. Price controls, also known, call it whatever name you like, socialism, communism, depending on the definition. Take a look.
As president, I will go after the bad actors. And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
Price gauging, a very dangerous policy. Now, this was not a policy speech. It was barely 20 minutes versus Trump's, 90 minutes speech and presser yesterday, second in 2 weeks. I think yesterday one of his best. And I think she means price gouging. I'm just guessing, not price gauging. But she might not know the difference. She likely didn't write a single word of that speech, as short as it was. Either way, it really doesn't matter because it's not happening. Look at this. The profit margin in the grocery industry, for example, is only 1.6%. That is the lowest level it has been in 5 years. Now, grocery prices, they have nearly doubled under Kamala and Joe, not because of huge profits, but because of their economic policies and inflation caused by Joe and Kamala's reckless spending. This past month, inflation is down, the rate is down. What? It's 3% higher than this time last year. And okay, that's up. In fact, the price of everything you buy and every store you go to is through the roof because of Kamala and Joe's policies. Let's take a look, shall we? Gas up 40%, eggs, I ate a lot of eggs, up 40%, bread up 25%, housing, airfare 21%, used cars 18%, new cars 17%, daycare, preschool up 16%, and the list goes on and on and on. You're paying about $11,000, $12,000 more a year than you were paying when Donald Trump was president. Now, Kamala's poised to make life so much worse for every American. It is hard to describe how insane this proposal really is. So instead, let's take a look at the countries that previously imposed these, price controls on price gauging. Now, they include the old Soviet Union, Cuba, North Korea, or recently Venezuela, where locals were pictured eating out of dumpsters because of dire food shortages caused by, price gauging and price controls. Kamala's plan is so bad that even the Washington Post is worried. Take a look at the Washington Post, of all places. When your opponent calls you a communist, maybe don't propose price controls. It's hard to exaggerate how bad Kamala's price gauging proposal really is. One Obama economist even trashed the plan, telling the New York Times, quote, "This is not sensible policy." And I think the biggest hope is it ends up being a lot of rhetoric and no reality. Others are calling it, quote, lunatic behavior. Even fake news. CNN is deeply worried about Kamala's price controls and price gauging issues. Take a look.
We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before. Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets, plenty of uncertainty. And beyond that, the specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices. It's really hard for me to imagine any form of legislation that preserves the spirit of what she's proposing that would not be, at best do nothing, at worst cause a lot of harm.
Well, hell might have frozen over because fake news CNN and Donald Trump are actually on the same page. Take a look.
Kamala Harris is a radical California liberal who broke the economy, broke the border, and broke the world, frankly. Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one, really, for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been? Now Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price control. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it too, but they don't work. They actually have the exact opposite impact and effect. But it leads to food shortages, rationing, hunger, dramatically more inflation. She's running on the Maduro plan. We call it the Maduro plan, like something straight out of Venezuela or the Soviet Union. This announcement is an admission that her economic policies have totally failed and caused really a catastrophe for our country, and beyond that, a catastrophe in the world.
All right, Kamala basically has two options. She could admit that she is a devout socialist, leftist, statist, communist, or she can run away from this policy and hide behind campaign ads who try to memory hole Kamala's price controls, just like they did pretty much every other insane proposal. A reminder.
Fighting inflation is one of our administration's top economic priorities.
Was it wrong to consider inflation transitory? I mean, these price spikes seem like they're going to be with us for a while.
We have to address the fact that we got to deal with the fact that folks are paying for gas, paying for groceries, and need solutions to it. So let's talk about that. If they fail to act as President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. We've got to increase the corporate tax rate. We also have to increase taxes for the top 1%. And that part of that is going to be about repealing that tax bill they just passed. And also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. That is called Bidenomics. That is called Bidenomics, and we are very proud of Bidenomics. And as today's jobs numbers make clear, Bidenomics is working.
Price of everything's gone up. Bidenomics, we're proud of Bidenomics. Huh? All right, suddenly after the Democratic nominee, Harris no longer stands for any of these positions. At least that's what her aides are saying to us, because Kamala refuses to answer any question about what she really believes. She still has not done a press conference or an interview, doesn't do gaggles. This is the most dishonest, deceptive campaign in our country's history. It's like Con Artist Kamala, the biggest bait and switch operation and fraud ever perpetrated on all of you, hardworking, tax-paying Americans. And right on cue, today's speech was full of lots of lies about Donald Trump. Take a look.
He wants to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax on everyday products and basic necessities that we import from other countries. That will devastate Americans. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. He tried to cut Medicare every year he was president, threatening a program that tens of millions of seniors count on. And according to his Project 2025 agenda,
one of his promises was that he was not going to do nothing to SSI, Medi-Cal, or anything like that. So what is she talking about?
Intends to undo our work to bring down prescription drugs, the cost of prescription drugs, and insulin costs.
Gas, food, clothing, medicine, none of it is true. Just the opposite. She's lying. Trump has nothing to do with Project 2025, as she keeps claiming. Clearly, he has said over and over, knows nothing about it, doesn't agree with it. He has never proposed a gas tax or raising any taxes. And by the way, when he did leave office, gas prices were a little over $2 a gallon. Gas on the national average never hit $3 a gallon. High gas prices, Harris and Biden, the cost of democracy, Kamala said. Trump actually lowered the cost of insulin before leaving office in 2020. Biden and Harris repealed that measure. Kamala Harris is just flat out lying, and apparently also a copycat. Now, so far, as the Democratic nominee, Kamala has proposed 4 policies, 2 of them: no tax on tips, child tax credit, stolen right from Donald Trump, even though she was the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act with a plan to tax tips with for service workers with all the new IRS agents that they were paying for. And meanwhile, the new plan today was a call basically for communist price controls, the start of her real dream, which she has said repeatedly in her own words. She wants the $93 trillion new Green Deal, and she'll eliminate the filibuster to get there. And the last proposal is a cheap attempt to buy votes that will have more dire consequences. Apparently now Harris is now promising to cut $25,000 checks to first-time home buyers. No plan to pay for it, other than printing money, which will cause another huge spike in prices for entry-level homes and will reduce supply. And this massive spending plan will exacerbate the inflation she helped cause in the first place. Across all sectors of the economy, they are failing. If you like what Kamala Harris did as your borders are, just wait until Joe hands over the keys to the economy. It will get bad. As I've said many times, when Americans understand the true extent of Kamala's radicalism, as they are protected by the complicit state-run media mob, she would lose in a landslide. Now, according to the new McLaughlin poll, unfortunately, most Americans, this is of Democrats and Biden independents, more than 70%. They are completely unaware of her positions on abolishing ICE, eliminating private health care insurance, Medicare for all, and universal health care. Her co-sponsoring the $93 trillion new Green Deal, defunding, dismantling, and no bail law insanity. Apparently, Kamala is counting on voters, especially young people, that she says are stupid, to see the truth. Take a look.
What's the other thing we know about this population? And it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories. And they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
18 and 24.
Well, hopefully they won't make the decision of voting for Kamala Harris since she thinks that they're stupid.
You are stupid. That's why we throw you in a dormitory with a, resident assistant. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Unbelievable that she would be that disrespectful. Now, I want to play what Trump said with his own words because she's trying to speak for him. So I want to make sure that Trump has a little playtime on this video to showcase some of his promises that he's made. I did read off his promises that he made. He has 20 of them on, I believe, like 3 or 4 videos ago.
Electricity prices, I will, by at least half within a 12-month period, we'll be able to reduce prices between regulation and having a tremendous supply, which we have. I always say we have more liquid gold under our feet, more than any other nation anywhere in the world, including Saudi Arabia and including Russia. We're going to terminate the Green New Scam. It's called the Green New Deal. It's a scam. And rescind all unspent funds. We're going to rescind that and pay off debt. And we're going to reduce debt. We took almost $10 trillion for nonsense, for absolute nonsense. We'll do bridges, we'll do roads, we'll do things that we need, but we're not going to be spending it or wasting it stupidly and have China laugh at us. I remember when, just a short while ago, Kerry goes, hops in his private plane, flies to China to talk about the energy prices and the energy situation in China with President Xi, who I know very well. Had a very good relationship until COVID came in, but that was a fence too far. but we had a great relationship. And Kerry would go up there, and he'd leave so happy. But they don't do anything. They just talk.
Because
they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to do that. Oh, as soon as we get to it." In the meantime, they're building a coal plant every week. But now I hear it's 2 coal plants a week. And we're dying for energy. We don't have energy, and they're getting sent for the AI because they're going to create so much electricity, and we're not going to be able to do it. But you'll do it if I have it, because that's an emergency. We have to be able to compete with China and other countries that are able to create new energy if they want to, and they're going to want to, and they do want to. But they're building at least 1 coal plant a week. Germany, as you know, went a little bit like us, and that was the end of Angela because their whole economy crashed, and their new government is building coal plants all over the place. They're building brand new coal plants, nuclear plants, and other things because Germany was going to fail. So why are we following these countries that tried it and failed? And they're smart countries. They tried it, they failed. Why are we doing this? Why aren't we creating great energy plants, great sources of energy, instead of playing this game with wind that is ruining everything, killing all your birds, destroying the fields, all these gorgeous fields. You got windmills all over the place, and you have birds. You want to see a bird cemetery? Just go under a windmill. You see thousands of birds dead. The bald eagle, if you kill an eagle, they put you in jail for years. And yet these windmills knock them out like nothing. And nothing happens to the people. Now, it's a green scam. It's a shame. Look, I'm all for clean energy. I want clean water. I want clean air. But you can't destroy your country over it. You just can't do that.
Well, I'm glad he explained that, and he did a good job explaining it. And I never even thought about those mills or those spinning apparatuses that could kill birds. I never even thought about that. I can imagine many of them getting caught up in that. That is kind of jacked up. But there was another lady that went on Anton. Well, he found a lady that talked about what a disaster this economic policy is going to be about. I want to play this video and then come to the chat room and see what you guys have to say. Do you believe that her intentions for the economic policy is to bring up Americans overall, or do you believe it's hogwash that she's speaking and spilling? I think that is hogwash.
There is a desperate need for people to go back and learn basic economics before they're even allowed to vote, because what you don't understand is certain policies will ultimately negatively affect you. Let's talk about price fixing and price capping. If you price fix something, I'm a corporation, and you're telling me I could sell this product for $5, no more, that's what I have to do it at. But it costs me $4 to get that product to then sell it to you. Well, I'm not going to make enough money making $1 profit to keep my business open and pay my employees to keep it running. So I'm either going to A, order less of that product, creating scarcity, meaning there's a high demand and a low availability for that product, which is going to lead to black market and people selling them at exorbitant prices. Or I'm going to go to my supplier and I'm going to say, hey, I need that same product, but I need it with a little bit less quality. Cut the corners on some things because I have to sell it for no more than $5. So I need you to make it for no more than $3. So I can at least make $2 profit so that I can afford to keep my doors open and pay everybody. See how that works? So now you're paying.
I looked at the live stream and I plan on breaking down the economic policy that Kamala Harris, we finally got it. Less than about 80 days to go before the November election, we finally got economic policy, and it's absolutely a disaster. And people are 100% tearing it apart. And I plan on going over it on the Millionaire Morning Show in depth, in detail. I'm going to do a special show where I break down and I look at the speech and I break down her entire economic policy. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that now you have people like me that can break it down from a C-student's perspective, or this woman who I plan on linking back to her profile in the description of the video so that I can make sure I give the content creators credit. Also, on top of that, make sure you'll tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. And Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Now, here's the thing about it. In a capitalistic environment, you have to allow for people to continue to produce the product. And because you don't understand economics, and we got these people that are lifetime politicians but have never worked in, they've never started their own business, they've never worked in any private part of government, neither her nor Tim Walz, They don't understand basic economic math when it comes to opening up a business. They don't understand it. The true cost, and I break this down for the Patreon members and I break it down for the Millionaire Morning Show, of a business, or the true cost of whatever it is that you're selling, is not buying it for $1 and selling it for $2. The true cost of a business is the entire cost of running that business itself. So each piece of chicken that you sell, if you open up a restaurant, it's not based off of what you get it from the supplier. It's also the cost to transport it back and forth, the fees that's associated with it, the inflation from the supplier itself, the rent that you have to pay, the employees that you have to pay, the unemployment insurance that you have to pay, the utilities that you have to pay when equipment break down. All of those costs total divided by how much or how many products you sell and how much you sell it for is the true cost of what it takes in order to be able to push this product out. So when they then say, and I was listening to her talking about grocery stores, and don't you know that grocery stores have the lowest margins, literally have the lowest margins? The reason why Walmart, and this is why you need people that are educated on politics and business to be able to run government. The reason why Walmart is the biggest grocery in the United States of America is not that they making so much money off of groceries. Is that they want you to get into the store so that you can ultimately spend money on other things, and hopefully you'll browse over into the home goods section, or you go over to electronics, or you go to buy some socks, or you go get some ABS or something like that, and then they can make up the cost that's associated with it so that they can better compete against somebody like Amazon, right? But true capitalism, and the reason why the United States of America is the most powerful country in the world is because of our ability to monetize things and then not necessarily control the market. Monopolizing the market is making sure that there's competition, but that's natural if you create a space that allows for small businesses to thrive. And so when she says that she's going to put a cap on something, that means that you're putting a cap on the amount of employees that you can hire, you're putting a cap on the amount of money that you can make, you're putting a cap on the amount of taxes that you can pay, you're putting a cap on a lot of different things that ultimately make the society thrive. And we're basically going over into a socialist environment that is going to kill and destroy the economy and absolutely be bad for everybody involved, including publicly traded companies and Wall Street itself. It's a horrible policy. Let me let this woman continue to cook, and then I'm gonna hopefully break it down for y'all from a C student's perspective, because she do break it down, but absolutely got to make sure that I add the value into it.
More for something that has less quality, or you're going to end up paying more because there's not enough of it available, or you're just not going to have it.
This is how you create a black market.
So there's that issue. Let's also talk about this throwing out, let's raise minimum wage. If you've ever owned a business, if you have to pay an employee $20 an hour instead of $15 an hour, well, that money has to come from somewhere. It's not going to magically appear. So I need to make that $5 difference between employees up. You know where I'm going to make that is I'm going to raise the price of the product I produce.
You pass it on to the consumer. And that's why the people over there in California, don't they see everything that she's talking about is all of the things that's happening over in California right now. And so when they voted in, somehow Panera was able to get around this, right? Because they bake their own bakery, they bake their own bread. But if you go over and look at it, a lot of these companies and these fast food companies are pulling out. Domino's, or whoever the delivery was, Pizza Hut, Domino's, one of them, they completely got rid of all of their delivery drivers when they said they had to pay them a certain wage. New York is fighting gig workers becoming permanent employees instead of being contractors. McDonald's employees and stuff like that, and fast food workers that have over a certain amount of locations are now requiring them to pay a minimum of $20-something an hour, and it's going to continue to go up. And so then they pass that on to the consumer, which the consumer then rejected the price because it doesn't actually keep up with wages as far as regular Americans that patronize the business. And so it basically drives the business out of drive the companies out of business. And these individual franchisees are saying that we can't even pay the rent no more because the biggest cost that's associated with a lot of these companies is the rent and the employees and the labor. This woman is going to be an economic disaster if she ever gets into office. Hear me out. This woman will be one of the worst presidents of all time. This is Bidenomics combined with Mamalonomics, and it's going to be a disaster for the United States of America.
Because I can't take that out of my bottom line because I also got to keep my business up and running and pay everybody and keep insurance and keep all the buildings going. So I'm going to do one or two things. I'm going to raise the price of my products that you're going to spend more so that you could cover that minimum wage, or I'm going to automate stuff. And I'm going to fire employees and let them go because I can't afford to keep 20 employees at $20 an hour, but I sure as shit can't keep 10 employees or 12 employees at $20 an hour because that would be the same as keeping all 20 at 15. Do you see how that works? Understanding basic economics before you vote for policies that are going to be detrimental to you in the long run because they sound good and they sound pretty. This is why knowledge of basic economics.
And you know what the worst part about it is? And then you combine it with the fact that you don't have a cap on the amount that you can charge for the products that you're selling that can't even allow for you to keep the employees that you want to keep on payroll. I'm telling you, listen, wake up. Wake up. It sounds good. It's going to be an absolute disaster. And this is coming from a person that has always ran their own businesses. Y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve what y'all got coming to y'all.
No, we don't deserve what's coming to us. We do not deserve what's coming to us. I don't like Anton for saying stupid stuff like that. It's just, I mean, some of our people want us to do bad. They're applauding us doing bad. And they're going to get their wish if they get Kamala up in office. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room. I really appreciate everybody for being here today. I hope that you got a little bit out of what Kamala's going to be on. I hope that you guys realize that it's blind faith and trust in Kamala, and that we be better off trusting someone that's already been president, Trump. You said, I have some good sources about the chameleon. They say that she has 92% turnover rate. People they have worked under her said it was like living hell, and she refers to be called the general. Oh my God. See, she's definitely a feminist, and I can foresee her really wrecking America. Appleton, thank you. Apple Newton, thank you for that. Pinky says, and most people lack critical thinking skills, so Trump gets blamed for C-19. COVID has been in the world forever. It was just bad, and a lot of people diagnosed with it probably just had the flu. Not to mention that it was created in a lab, allegedly, by Chinese people, allegedly, and none of them are holding the bag for any of that. Everybody just let them slide if they did that. If they were the cause of that, why weren't they charged? Why weren't they billed something? Why weren't they held accountable? I want to know that. For Rivers says, what Biden, Harris have been doing is fighting the American middle class and allowing hyperinflation to plague the economy. Apple Newton says Trump's first 4 years and his accomplishments says a lot of how he's a better fit for president. He's already did it, and he's going to do it better the second go around. I don't understand why would we trust somebody that's already in office as a vice president who has not done anything but blessed her people, and we want to put trust in her to bless all of us? Leaving the border open as a border czar. She is the accomplice of what Biden has caused. And she helped create and keep the problem going. Why would we benefit that woman? Why would we bless her? Think about that. Why would we? And the Raven says, and let's not forget our Second Amendment. Trump will protect our right to bear arms. Exactly. We definitely don't want to be ruled by Chinese people. Pinky Wells says, I can't wait for the first Trump and Kamala debate. Oh, you know I'm going to be on that, Pinky. As soon as that happens, I'm going to try to air that live as soon as it happens. I definitely want to watch that and critique it. Monty says, I just want to buy a house and feed my family, like an American, duh. Nowadays, being American is nothing. let Kamala tell it. Chameleon Kamala. Being an American, what does that mean anymore? It used to mean a lot. Now all of a sudden being illegal is meaning a lot. It's really a weird time to witness. And Pinky says, and take a few vacations. Cam says, and people on Social Security get a 2.5% COLA. I don't know what that is, COLA. Tell me what that is, Kim. COLA, COLA. For Rivers says, when Trump saw the game that was being played using the COVID, he kicked the WHO out. Biden reinstated them so that they could keep torturing Americans with mandates. Exactly. Yoni says, the more I hear from her, the more frightened I feel. I have so much anxiety, Yanni, full of faith about this woman, and I have not been wrong about people that I have discerned on YouTube. I've guessed people that have been fraudsters before they were caught being fraudsters. I've discerned people that were liars to be liars. And I'm telling y'all, this woman is a bold-faced liar. She cannot be trusted. And she is going to do black people really, really bad. I discern this. You can say I'm crazy, but everything that I have discerned has come to pass. I wish to goodness my other channel was up, because y'all would be marveled over all the predictions that I have predicted before they even happened. But I have not been wrong on nobody yet. Not one person can I say, oh, I made a mistake. I have not made a mistake yet. And Kamala Chameleon Harris is the biggest fraud walking around. She is going to let us down, and she's going to show her ass out, and she's really going to leave us behind as Americans. Y'all mark my words. The Raven says Trump and CNN on the same page. Wait, hold up. Am I in a parallel universe or something? I know that rarely happens, doesn't it? Four Rivers says Biden pushed mandates for chicken farmers to kill millions of chickens if a few were sick, causing the prices of chicken to still be high today. Wow. Apple Newton said Trump don't need a teleprompter, nor does Vance. Trump got a good ass memory, man, for an older guy. You cannot say that man is senile. He has a very good memory. He goes off the cuff of his head. He doesn't even read the prompter or what people tell him to read. He goes off script all the time. That's what I like about him. He's authentic. He's raw. He's real. Unlike Kamala, who's scripted, who's going to tell you what you want to hear, who's going to give you all these dreams, and then she's going to let you down. And it's just going to be a terrible, terrible day to witness. The Raven says Trump going off script is what saved his life. See, you're right about that. And he goes off script a lot. Pinky says Kamala is dumb. I can't believe she's passed bar exam. I think it's because of alcohol. I think that she is Pinky, I would guess that she's a functional alcoholic. There are a lot of people that are functional drug heads, that are functional alcoholics. And I just, something in my spirit is telling me that she's a functional alcoholic. But it does mess with your memory. It does mess with your present tense. So even though she might have been smart at one point, drinking so much, drinking will dull your memory and your senses. And I think that that's what's happened to Kamala Harris. But she's vicious. She ain't forgotten about that part. She's vicious, she's manipulative, and she's dangerous. That's why you cannot trust that woman. Pinky says Kamala is dumb. Okay, I read that. She didn't pass the bar exam? Uh-oh. Dr. Iron Mom says she didn't pass the bar exam. Uh-oh, what did she do? I dare ask. Four Rivers says Bidenomics has caused overinflated prices at the grocery stores, rent hikes, gas hikes, etc. Yoni says it's disturbing how easily she can lie to people. Man, she lies without batting an eye. She lies without batting an eye. I don't even think she believes in God. I wonder if somebody will ask her if she have any faith in God. I bet you she doesn't acknowledge a God. Pinky says she has the AG for California. She was the AG for California. Yeah. I think she's projecting onto Trump. Yoni says Trump said he didn't know what the so-called Project 2025 is. She's a liar. Four Rivers says, I think he probably knows what it is, but he didn't draft it. He didn't create it. He probably got a copy of it from somebody sending it to him from the Heritage something project or whatever it's called. Democrats using Project 2025 as a fear-mongering tool, hustling votes. Exactly. Vivek stole from Trump, now Kamala. Wow, Pinky. It's crazy. God help us, please. Yanni, that's what I've been saying. Pray for us all. Lord God, give us the strength to determine and discern who is real in front of us. Please open up our eyes and let us see who is who and why we need to support someone like Trump. Please let us see Kamala, whatever her name is, in the true light that she is. I hope to goodness that she slips up. I hope to goodness that she makes mistakes to where it's exposed. That things that she says, things that she does, that leaks come out. I pray that she will not find peace from all her lies, and that revelations will be revealed whenever she comes close to this election. I definitely pray that us as Americans will get more American and let bygones be bygones as far as the hate that we have had among ourselves. We really cannot afford to hate one another, to be consumed with hate, to have a civil war. I pray that God takes all that anger away from people that they have in their heart. I hope that God takes away all the vengeance and all the wannabe people that want to make people suffer, to take that from their hearts, Lord, and replace it with clarity, replace it with a curiosity to understand truth and know and understand what we are dealing with in front of our faces. In Jesus' name I pray. Pinky says all Americans can have free and low-cost health care. Biden and Kamala proved that by giving free health care to the illegals. Exactly. Yes, please hit the like button and share. The Raven says, I gotta go see my family that is here. I'll try to be back later. Thank you for coming through. I'm almost over. It's almost at the 3-hour mark, so I'll be concluding pretty soon. For River says she should be talking about how the green energy is a fraud. They siphon billions from the economy with their failed fake energy windmills, electric cars, etc. Kauai says, I don't understand people backing Kamala. I never could. I know, I could never. I heard that. I could just tell that she is not the real thing. And I know that there's a lot of people that are in cahoots with her. I have a feeling that a lot of corrupt people are in her back pocket. I feel like she's made a lot of money and a lot of promises to a lot of different corrupt people. And these people are really wanting Kamala to become in office because they're going to rip America dry. They're going to rip us off and pillage us all these people wanting to get their dibs. They don't care about America. They don't care about the survival of America. They care about what they can get from Kamala Harris real quick. A lot of these immigrants are wanting to get some kickback for nothing, just because. It's unbelievable. What's Trump's promise to offer to Black people specifically? Again, the border right now is more important than any other thing that he can promise. That is the most important promise, because to allow illegals in is to take from Black Americans. To allow illegals in is to cause a whole lot of pain and suffering with Americans. In fact, I'm glad you said that, because there's a video I can play really quick to just tell you in a nutshell what immigration does to us. Immigration is a really bad, especially illegal immigration is really bad for us. And prioritizing illegals over Americans, in a nutshell, explains itself. I mean, who else does that? Who would prioritize foreigners, illegals, over their own people? I want y'all to check out this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I'm ready to go almost, but this video is about Center for Immigration Studies. This talks about the impact of U.S. immigration policy on Black Americans. Illegals are a detriment to Black Americans. It is not a blessing to us.
We don't endorse candidates, although people are free to endorse any party or candidate they want. The center does not get involved in that. And I had a question about politics, but first I want to ask a question that somebody had sent in, and that is that a significant phenomenon that was true 100 years ago, but much more significant now, is Black immigration. In other words, immigration from the Caribbean and from Africa in a very significant way, both legal and illegal. There's significant illegal.
Oh, that's not the right one. Hold on, let me get the right video. That's the question part. I want to get to the part where she explains what happens and what is happening to us. She breaks it down a lot better than I. But it has a big impact on Black Americans.
Yes, I serve on the board with Kathleen on there, but I'm also the Director of Membership Development for Project 21 Black Leadership Network. And I think that's important to understand. We are a center-right organization. So I'm saying this to say that the majority of the people that actually call or I come in contact with usually are center-right. Something has changed. I get more phone calls from elite Black liberals than I do from conservatives or people who lean conservative that are Black. And what has changed over the last 2.5, 3 years? Illegal immigration. I get phone calls at 11 o'clock in the morning from pastors, from leaders of NGOs, from community leaders, asking for my help that would never have the same policy and believe in the same policy issues that I do. But they're asking for help because for the first time, the straw that broke the camel's back is mass illegal immigration in Black communities. I have a large network in Chicago of Black pastors who called and said, "Can you help us?" There's reality and there's perception. And we need to not understand how powerful perception is. Here's the perception of African American males. They think that illegal mass immigration of illegal immigrants in their community is so that they can swap out Black people for brown. They believe that they're put there deliberately to take those jobs. Low industry, low skilled jobs that are historically held by African American males. They believe that they're there to displace them so that they don't have economic power so they can be pushed back. Second, they believe that they're there so that they can take control of their community. I hear from leaders in Black urban communities that don't lean right, are saying to me that they're meeting with people and they're seeing these immigrants in their community actually recruiting members to be gang members. Why? Because they want to take control of the community. They believe that there's a plot to make sure that there is no Black ownership of businesses, of housing, because they have deliberately planted all of the illegal immigrants purposely in minority communities to sow discourse. The last thing that I would hate to say, but it's true, is that they believe that the left is deliberately setting up a scenario where there's going to be a racial war not between Black and white, but between Black and brown. The fact that the majority of the illegal immigrants that you've seen in the last year are actually male, military age individuals. A lot of those individuals have been incarcerated, gang members, all of these situations. That we have a community that is the Biden, I call him Lock 'em Up Joe, right? Now he didn't just take fathers out of the house, he took fathers out of the community completely. So there's already a shortage of Black males in the community. Now you're putting mass amounts of Black Army-ready illegal immigrants in there. What do you think is going to happen? Now, perception is a powerful thing. For the first time, you have Black males who historically lean left that are all of a sudden moving to the right. Why? Because economically, they're being pushed down the ladder. And these other people are coming, illegal immigrants, that are being pushed forward and on a pedestal. Imagine this, and I was thinking about this. The average income, median income for African Americans, just nationwide, $35,700 a year. That's somebody that's doing well. That's the median income. That translates to about a little bit over $31,000 a month pre-tax. $3,100 a month pre-tax. If you add in the 15%, because they still have to pay tax, that's about $2,600 a month. From that, take away rent, which the average is $1,500 a month. In Chicago, $1,800 a month. If you're lucky, you can share an apartment with somebody, maybe not. So you're deducting that. Now you got to take out your transportation costs. You have to take out your food costs. Legal immigrants can come to this country. They get $2,200 a month for SSI. They get free rent. So let's add that. $2,200 average.
They're getting more money than that, as you know, in certain places such as Chicago, New York, and so forth. I just wanted to play a little snippet of that to let y'all know that illegals are our detriment. And if you vote for Kamala Harris, you're voting for anti-Black Americans, and you're voting for anti-American overall. That's all I can say. There's really nothing else left for me to say but to read your comments, and then I'm going to conclude this video. Thank y'all all for coming through. Thank you for listening. If you have liked the video, I really appreciate you. If you have not yet, please like the video. Please share the video. Please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate you. Thank you in advance. Let me go back up. Okay, Alf Sinclair says, you're not just pro-Trump, you're expert in avoiding questions you don't want to answer. If Trump has the 25 plan, why is he saying he doesn't know about it? Again, if I wouldn't claim something if I was not the author of it, why would I want to claim something that I'm not the author of and I don't have any intention of using? Why are you trying to tether him with that? There's something up with you, Alf, not me, you. M. Pleasley says the Heritage Complex has submitted a draft of sorts that covered what the Republican Party would like to focus on by 2025. I believe Trump did not endorse nor commit to anything in that document. Exactly. He did not endorse it. He did not write it. So why am I going to tether that to him as if it's him? That doesn't make sense. Just because he happens to be Republican, he's happening to be running for presidency in 2024, that has to be his. You guys sound retarded. You don't sound very bright. Pinky says, Alf Sinclair, what part of Project 2025 scare you? What part of it hasn't been implemented before? The Raven says, bro, give me my loud, obnoxious, gas-powered cars all day long. Four Rivers says, when companies are forced to raise wages, they look for other options. This puts the low-wage worker in jeopardy of being replaced with machines, or illegals. Exactly. That's a lot of that's going to happen. And I don't think anyone's safe that is American unless you're wealthy. There's nobody safe unless you're wealthy already. No trolling, go elsewhere. Exactly, Pinky says. Exactly. Vote for Kamala Harris, lose America, the Raven says. Exactly. You vote for her, you want America to be demolished. You want it to be destroyed. Kamala Harris for illegal immigrants. That's what she's for, the Raven. That's exactly what she's for. Four Rivers says the electric cars aren't better than the gas ones. Extreme weather causes them to fail, and many countries are now refusing to enforce them onto the public. Pinky says foreign corporations waiting to get their greedy hands in America if Kamala takes office. A lot of people are going to be expecting kickbacks. No, you can't see me because I believe that my words are more important than you seeing me, Carmen. But I show videos that you need to see. Pinky says, yes, she is. And some of our people still want her to lead America. They want to see America go down the drain. There's a whole host of people that are in other countries that blame America for their country's struggles. And a lot of people are out here willfully wanting to see America be destroyed so that we don't be a superpower. That's what a lot of people that's even here right now, currently in America, believe in. And these same people talking about we want to unify with you, Black American. I don't want none of those people around me. None of those people. The Raven says, not to mention EV car fires are nearly impossible to extinguish. They are not good for our planet. Where are you gonna put those batteries when you are done with them? That's a good thought. I never thought about that. Pontus, she blackouts the screen, Pinky says. Four Rivers says yes, because there is no true leadership, representation of the indigenous Black American. Their needs aren't being addressed, and their neighborhoods are being inundated with illegals. Yes. Notice they don't put those illegals in other areas. No, they don't, Pinky. Keep voting blue and they will replace you. Exactly. That's a good slogan. Keep voting blue and they will replace you. Bingo. Keep reminding me of that, Pinky. That's a good one. Four Rivers says the benefits of the electric vehicle are not many and not worth doing away with the gas-run vehicles. The Raven says, look, as white men, I ain't against a Black president so long as they are American, but Kamala Harris isn't it. Exactly. She's not even Black. Big Chief says, I like this sister looking like a young Patti LaBelle, and she's a BBW. I wonder if she's single. What sister? Anyways, and Kamala ain't Black. Exactly. Vote left, get left behind. Exactly. What is the name of this this channel, please? Which one? I'm not sure what video you're referring to. Oh, you're talking about the immigration one? Okay, let me find that. If you go to Center of Immigration Studies, they go over why the impact of immigration, especially illegal immigration, will be bad for us. Center for Immigration Studies. Moving on to the next one, if I can find where I was. Okay, Pinky says she's is a good representative for Black women, beauty, and brains. Four Rivers says a leader is not responsible if they allow their country to be overrun with foreigners who they may eventually lose control over. Just insanity, or maybe senility. Yes. I live in San Francisco. Can you imagine that? Oh, wow. Deborah, how is it in San Francisco right now? Black Lives MAGA. Exactly. I've liked and subscribed. Sharing as hard as I don't use social media. I appreciate everything that you have done. Thank you for that. Pinky says, in the same-ish Los Angeles. Oh, yeah, I was going to finish up the rest of that video before I almost forgot the remainder of what's going on in LA. Let's finish up this last bit of video and then I'm done. My dog has to go outside pretty soon. It is a nice day for walking, y'all, and taking your dogs out.
4 years or so. And so this should be of great concern. And this is why you're seeing a growing number of Black Americans take to the internet and are saying that, hey, listen, we are more concerned about the policies. What are the tangible policies do you have specifically for Black Americans to stop this process? Because again, going back to the chart, you can see who the ones that are winning and you can see the ones that are losing. And unfortunately, for cities like the city of Los Angeles, Black Americans have been losing for a very long time there. And I think this is something that we need to talk about. And neither party seems to care about it, but we do need to care about it. But I wanted to bring this topic to your attention because, again, in about 4 years or so at the time of this recording, the conversations are going to be just like what we're having right now. So thank you so much for tuning in. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time. And I just finished editing, but I almost forgot. This video here, I'm just plugging this in. It's about 2 more minutes. This video, I want to include in this video, is talking about the changes that Black Americans in Miami had to deal with with the influx of Cuban immigrants, when Cuban immigrants were being shipped into those Black American communities. I want you to pay close attention to what they were dealing with and what they were talking about all the way back then. You're going to hear the same language. It's the same stuff over and over again. This is why it's so important for us to make sure that we itemize ourselves, delineate ourselves, and that it's, where our needs are on the ballot. Our needs are the things that are being talked about. We're not being lumped in with everybody else, because Black Americans have been here for a very long time. We have specific needs, and if we don't draw the line right now and say enough is enough, we demand specific policies for us. This thing, we're just slowly but surely being pushed off the map. And this video here I'm about to play for you is just another example of that. So check it out.
Miamians view the sudden in-migration of Cubans with bitter irony. Black Miamians watched as Cuban exiles were given assistance, aid, and money that native-born Black Americans never received. Some Blacks began to feel that the Cuban migration and the federal government's attention to Cuban needs blunted demands that Blacks were making during the 1960s civil rights struggle. Jesse McCrary is an attorney in Miami. At 34, McCrary has had a fast-moving career. He's been an assistant state's attorney general and for a time sat as one of Florida's federal court judges. McCrary likes to remember that he is one of few Blacks that is able to maintain offices on Miami's Biscayne Boulevard. We asked McCrary what he thought the Cuban immigration means to Blacks in Miami.
For one, Tony, it means that economically, when you look at what the Cubans have done in terms of their economics versus what Blacks have done, it means that we are once again at the bottom of the barrel. There are no predominantly Black financial institutions in this county. Some people would say that, even though there is a bank here with a number of Blacks on the board of directors. But when you look at the control of the bank, where the major portion of the stock is held, it's held by white Miamians. Contrasting that, you have Cubans who have a bank that reportedly is one of the fastest growing banks in the country. Now, that poses a problem because I believe that the whole strength of any community happens to be what kind of financial institutions do you have? Is there an institution that can make a loan to a man who wants to go in business? Is there an institution that is sympathetic to a man who wants to build a house? Is there an institution where he can borrow money to send his children to school? Now, if you don't have those kinds of institutions, then certainly when other people have them, that is white Miami, Cuban Miami, and then Black Miami does not have it, it certainly puts them in a pretty poor position, I think.
But we'll be told to join forces with all melanated people that come to America, and it's just nonsensical. It does not make sense. It does not add up. They are trying to replace us. They're competing against us. They're rallying for Harris now. They want kickbacks for themselves. They're not thinking about Black Americans. They want a double dip, though. They want what you can give them, and they want what they can get from this government as well. So until we wake up and understand that we're on our own, and the only thing that these Pan-Africans would like to do against us is use us. And that is what my conversation would be more on tomorrow, talking about Pan-Africanism. There's a video I want to showcase where people are trying to say that we as Black Americans are like likening ourselves to white people, likening ourselves to white supremacy. These foreign Blacks wants to bash us into submission. They don't want us to have a mind of our own. They don't want us to be critically minded. They want us to feel like we are beholden to them, that we owe them, that we're obligated to them, and that they make up these tall tale stories about us being whitewashed and we are wanting to connect with white supremacy and all this type of talk so that they can control us. This will be the conversation tomorrow. but I hope that you guys would do me a favor by liking and sharing the video. I appreciate everybody for conversing in the chat room. I have to take my dog out right now because she's looking at me funny. So please hit the like on the way out, and please bless up and have a wonderful Saturday. Thank you for appearing.